Welcome back to Tampa. When we take special report on the road during campaign seasons, we always like to talk to real voters, people like you, to find out what's on your mind and what issues may influence your vote. Tonight we introduce you to 3 voters with plenty to say. Rochelle Warmuth from Palm Harbor wants a candidate to cheer for. The bookkeeper and mother of 3 says with the midterms approaching, politics dominates discussion at home.
Our kids grew up in politics.
The issues driving her this election?
The economy and education and educating our young people to vote today.
Rochelle studies each candidate but thinks she'll vote Republican across the board this year. She no longer trusts polls.
I was with a group of ladies not long ago, and one of them brought up and said, "Rochelle, when are the survey calls going to stop?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "I got 3 of them today." I finally started telling them the opposite of what they wanted to hear.
Is that right?
Yeah. So, I mean, you can't believe the polls out there either. I mean, look at Trump's race 4 years ago. He was losing.
Vito Sheely works for a nonprofit in St. Petersburg. He has 2 teenagers.
My grandmother was an educator. My aunts and uncles all were educators, and that was something that was instilled in me.
Education is important for him, too, as he looks at candidates. But Vito says making sure people don't fall through the cracks, even in an improving Florida economy, is the most important.
We really need to focus on the increase in the living wage, having to work 2 to 3 jobs just to put food on the table. Most people here, especially in the state of Florida, are 1 paycheck away from, disaster.
What is truly the American way?
Vito thinks Mayor Andrew Gillum could shake things up in the state.
I think Gillum has run a pretty good race. I think the fact that he came from the bottom all the way to being the gubernatorial nominee speaks a lot.
Ida Vasquez Soto is a 20-year-old student at the University of South Florida. She's a first-generation college student. Her parents came here from Cuba in 1993.
I've been watching the media relations that Gillum has versus DeSantis.
As for issues driving her, the economy and health care.
Florida in particular didn't take the Medicaid expansion, so something that's going to be watched very closely in the coming election is how governors respond to the healthcare crisis, especially with rising premiums.
In the governor's race, Ida is clear.
Gillum's policies are unappealing to me. I think they're borderline socialist.
But she's actually not overly thrilled with any candidate this year.
My generation, which is Gen Z, we're most disaffected by both parties. They just don't feel like either party represents them, and I think my generation is going to keep following that track. They would like more moderate candidates who preserve fiscal responsibility while also giving individuals the freedoms to, say, marry who they want or smoke what they want.
Our thanks to those voters. Up next, we'll talk live with 2 Florida political